I put 30,000 miles on the front tires and then they blew up. So I'm a bit of a frugal guy. I took it to the extreme. Wanted to see how long I could go without changing the tires. I didn't expect for them to pop on the interstate, but here's the story. And let's see what the tires look like after 30,000 miles. All right, so we got the car to the house. It's been sitting here about 2 weeks, but I put 2 cans of tire repair kit in here. Didn't work, so now we're gonna jack up the car. Remember always to loosen the lug nuts before you take the car off the ground. Break them loose first. All right, so the lug nuts were not hard to get off with that little cross tire iron, whatever that thing's called. Just hand tight. I could do it with, not hand tight, but I did it with my big muscle arms with that tool there. And the help of my Nashville cup, even though we're in SoCal. So here's the jack that I bought. So this was actually off Amazon. So I got this on Amazon. 1.5 ton scissor jack. I think I've used it. One time. So if you know how these work, it's pretty simple. You just got to find a point to jack it up. You got to figure out, don't put it on these guys, obviously. But let's look under and see. I believe it's usually like right here. Can't really see. It's not right here. It's right on this piece of metal, I believe. So you're just gonna put this part right in that section. Yes, it's very good. Hand turn this dude until you get some tension on there. Once you got some tension, make sure it's appropriately placed. Looks good enough for me. It needs to be a little bit more. You just hook this dude like so and crank her up. All right, car's jacked up a little bit. And you just need a little gap under there. This tire's flat, so as you can see, flat and bald. I'm just gonna pull this dude off. All right, so this is what a tire looks like after 30,000 miles. This is a 5-year-old. I bought this car new in 2015. These are the front tires that came on it. And I drove this car daily for a little bit until it went flat on the interstate at about 60 miles an hour. The notification screen went up on the dash when we were going down the interstate. And you know, it was a bit of a panic because I was in a different part of town that I didn't know. I didn't want to get stuck with a flat tire in a bad area. And that's what happened though. But thanks to AAA, got towed. Not a big deal. That looks like that could be the culprit. So if it wasn't for that, I could have got another 30,000. Anyways, so I'm gonna put this in the Prius. And here are the replacements that I found. These are Federal Evolution. This is a made in Taiwan. I was wrong. They're not Korean. These are Treadwear 300 traction AA, temperature A, 255/40/19, 100Y XL. I don't know what a few of those numbers are, but you get the idea. So hopefully these are better than those. And these were about 200 bucks. So excited to get these dudes on. The brakes don't look bad at all. I've done a track day on these. I've done a track day and numerous drives through the canyons. No pulsing. Damn, these brakes are massive. They don't look that massive here, but if you look, you get to see this. I don't have a small hand, but these rotors are 15.5 inches. Do not have the appropriate wheel chocks or blocks. So We're literally using blocks to set the car on, so who cares? It works. I just need some tires on. Literally put my Mustang on blocks. This is kind of rough, but it works. All right, the wheel is off. Car's on blocks. Looks terrible, but it's doing the trick for now. Off to the second side. This is not my garage. If it was, it would have nothing in it. But I'm thankful that I have a place to put this beast so I can get it back on the road. What is that? That better be that's just a spider web. Okay, we're good. All right, let's work on this. These are literally just hand tight. Maybe I can show you. It's hard to do with, where's the 21? It's hard to do with one hand. It's really hard to do with one hand. All right, just took the lug nuts off. Let's pull this dude off without smashing my fingers. Perfect. So this one, still the same thing, 30,000 miles, but it didn't go flat. I thought the inner wear was from when it went flat, but apparently not. This is the factory alignment, no aftermarket suspension. And this is what's happening on the inside. I don't know the factory specs, but maybe there's some camber plus some toe in there. But this is what the dude looks like. You know, it doesn't rain down here, so I was like, yeah, I'll drive on slicks. And the tread bars are just right there, actually. It's just this inner wear. But they're dry rotted, as you can see, and you could tell if you made like a sharp U-turn, the front tires would literally kind of, you could feel it slipping. You could feel it kind of go pop, pop, because the tires were just going on the concrete. So, all right, time to throw these in the back of the Prius and get them put on. 4 19-inch wheels and tires. The Prius actually has a ton of space on the inside for anyone who wants to know. All right, so just dropped off the wheels and tires over there at Firestone. I think it was $42 to mount and balance the front wheels and tires, the new tires on the front wheels there. I'm excited to see how those tires work out. They are the Federal Evolution. They are not Korean, they are made in Taiwan. So we're gonna see how those work out, but I guess the point of the quick little video was to say, the front tires lasted 30,000 miles. The tire blew unexpectedly on the interstate. The little monitor came up on the dash that said low tire warning, and I could watch it. It was like 15 PSI. 10 PSI. I was like, okay, I gotta get off the interstate. I gotta make it to a gas station immediately. I filled it up with one bottle. It looks like it hit a screw. It looked like the rubber had been so worn out that it probably just hit a little screw that punctured it. And that's why the tire went flat. Had a good run. I don't like the Pirellis, but I didn't want to spend a few $100 to change them until they were completely worn out. I was trying to put as little money as possible into the Mustang and just keep the running costs down. I even bought a Prius to drive every day so I don't have to burn the gas in the Mustang, because the gas difference is about $300 a month if I daily drive the Mustang versus daily drive the Prius. So $300 a month times 12 is $3,600. And the Prius was like $5,000. So the Prius basically paid for itself in gas after the first year and a half. So that's what I mean. I didn't want to put any more money into it. Now that the tires are gone, and I didn't want to replace the tires because they're summer tires and it's always summer here. It doesn't rain. So having bald front tires was not that big of a deal, except for one time when it did rain and I was on the interstate and it literally just changed lanes on me. It just jumped over a whole lane. And I've been sliding around in Mustangs since I was about 16 or 15, so I knew, it still surprised me, but I knew how to handle it and I didn't. But I was going 55 miles an hour on the 405 with lots of cars around me, so that's dumb and stupid and dangerous. But if you can manage it and stay out of the rain, you know, there's nothing wrong with that unless you hit a nail like I did. And but even if the tire hitting a nail and blowing out on the interstate at 55 or 65 miles an hour, it really just you didn't even feel it. Didn't even notice that the tire was gone. It just drove straight. So it wasn't like a horror story where, you know, the car flipped and tumbled down the sideways and everyone died or something crazy. It was just like the steering wheel, you barely felt it in the steering wheel. You could tell something was off though. And the warning light on the dash came up. So if the warning light didn't come up on the dash and then someone made like a fast maneuver, that could be trouble. But we were going straight and the warning light popped up, and immediately brain was thinking, what is the closest place to stop? And so it gives you a little time to figure out the safest place to secure your vehicle as you're going to be waiting for a tow truck or to try to repair it. But the Mustang Performance Package does not have a spare. It's got a little pump back there. No spare tire. And I tried to use Fix-A-Flat. I used 2 cans of that and it just wouldn't hold. The hole was too big, and had to get a flatbed to take it over here, and it's been sitting for a couple weeks until I figured out like what kind of tires I wanted. Federal used to not make tire sizes that were very good. They were very limited, but the brand's growing, and I'm all about like some good value. So like if you can get tires that perform 70% of how the Michelin Pilot Sports perform for like 25%, or you know, like a third of the price, like a 66% discount for 60% of the tire, 70% of the tire, then I'm all about that. So that seems like a better value than buying the high end tires that are 3 times more expensive, $300 a tire, $250 a tire. I'd rather buy the $100 tire and have like 3/4 or 2/3 of the tire performance and all that stuff. Especially if it's rear tires, because you're just gonna be burning those off. But if you're not, and you really like ride quality and feel and all this stuff, the Pilot Sports are amazing tires. I just can't justify spending I want this to be a budget thing. I'm not tracking the car. So I tracked those tires one time, the front tires, and I've done numerous canyon runs. But other than that, lots of just daily driving. I pretty much baby the Mustang. Even the front brake pads, though, are still good even after doing a track day. So that's after 30,400 miles. It just towed it straight to the house. That's how long the front tires lasted. So if you're curious, that's how long they last. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll do a tire review on the new Federals. So that's a tire size that you can get and replace your factory Mustang for tires for like probably under $500 for 4 tires. So I'm gonna review those and let you guys know how they feel and see if they're a good value for you, because that's about half the price it would cost, or more than half the price, less than half the price of the Pilot Sports. I know they're not gonna be as good a tire, obviously, but I'll review them and then we'll talk about it. All right, hit the subscribe if you want to know more about the tires and what's going on with them. The Prius has got something going on with it too. I'm going to try to figure that out. It's got a misfire. Yeah, until next time.